Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah.
Melanated!
Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is iced Jasmin Cream tea by the Mountain Witch Tea Company. Today I want to talk about a lot of things. First thing I want to talk about is the killing in Kalamazoo, Michigan. A man with access to many different firearms decided that he was going to go on a killing spree. The scary thing about it is that police don't know the motive at all. They don't know why he targeted the people he targeted, but he killed 6 different people in a couple different locations. He killed a mother in front of her children outside of an apartment complex, women in, I think, a Target shopping parking lot, and wounded a 14-year-old girl. He also killed a father and son at a car dealership. So the incidences they happened in the same day, but they all didn't happen in the same time. Like, he took his time and did them in different places. And also he happened to be an Uber driver, so he picked up fares in between. And so it's all very chilling and scary and sick because he was just so casual and calm about it. And authorities were able to pick him up, I think, an hour after the last killing. And I mean, I have no words for it. So my heart and prayers go out to the family of these victims. And I hope I want to find out what the motive was and why he did this and why he targeted these people. So white people are so weird. These white people who get so shook up. I mean, they're like, some commentator on Fox News is talking about this and people are still talking about this. I feel like Super Bowl happened like 3-4 weeks ago. Like, who cares? Beyonce is still in the news. The police in certain places where she is performing, they refuse to protect and serve. They refuse to provide security for her concerts, which is crazy. I don't know that they can even do that. Like, isn't that illegal? Their job is to protect and serve, like, no matter what. I mean, why can't they just acknowledge that they do kill unarmed black people, unarmed minorities? They do that. It happens because they profile, because they're scared, because they're in a culture and society where they're dealing with the worst of the worst. But for whatever reason, even though they're dealing with white people who are terrible and the worst of the worst, they're more scared or more vigilant towards minorities who are the worst of the worst. So, because for some reason they don't find the humanity in those people. They find the humanity in the people who they look like. And so that's fine. But like, it is what it is. I'm not saying that all cops are bad. I just say there are bad cops. I'm not saying that all white cops are bad, because there are bad black cops. But like, there is a culture in society, let's tell even the black cops, even the Hispanic cop, even the Asian cops, that the people of their culture, who are the people of their race who are bad, are the worst of the worst. We live in that culture. And so for Beyonce to have an image of a little boy dancing in front of the cops and having Rudy Giuliani and all these people say that she's anti-police is ridiculous. And then for them to be babies and act on it and then not want to support or provide security to her shows is ridiculous. They're grown-ass people. We're all grown-ass people. Like, stop being children about this situation. So anyways, Louis Farrakhan offered up the nation as security, and I say she takes it. So the primaries. So basically, we're still going through the primaries. Nevada just had their caucus. Next is South Carolina. Trump is winning, y'all. Trump is winning. I mean, Rubio and Ted Cruz are still in the game, and Ben Carson, for whatever reason, is holding on, and so is Kasich. Bush dropped out, which is like, I mean, he should have dropped out a long time ago, but he finally dropped out. And Chris Christie dropped out. You know, now it's just Bernie and Hillary on the Democratic side. Hillary's winning. I have mixed feelings. I've said this before. I have mixed feelings. I think that Hillary might be able to get some stuff done. What those things are may not be in my interest, but I do think she's going to be able to get some stuff done because she's been in politics for so long and she has all these connections. And, you know, like, she's a tough cookie, and like, she's a politician. And I feel like Bernie Sanders is a politician too, but I feel like he's not going to get a lot done. I feel like they're going to hold him back and they're going to stalemate him the way they did Obama. And I would love for him to be president. But I don't think he'd be able to get as much done because I don't think he would do the deals and the backhanded stuff that he needs to do that Hillary would do. So it's kind of like, I'm okay with whoever wins the nomination. It would be great for Bernie to win, because I do think that whoever wins the nomination is still going to win over the Republican. The Republicans have really got some crazies on the ticket. They've got Donald Trump, who is an actual, I think, fiscal Republican, who's not Christian. And if he is Christian, he doesn't go to church, he doesn't give a fuck. And he's going to be making these deals. I don't know if he's going to build any relationships with anyone outside of the country. I think he'll make America a giant bully, and that more so than we already are. And I don't think there are going to be a lot of world leaders who want to work with him. But if he says he's going to get us out of debt, I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. Isn't that weird? I'm not voting for Trump, but I do think it would be interesting to have his wife be first lady. I think that'd be so funny. Anyways, so I do think whoever goes up against Trump, because I do think Trump is going to win the nomination. I do think whoever goes against Trump will win, because I don't think the powers that be will allow Trump to be president. I do think that the certain faction of the Republican Party will vote for the Democratic nominee, or they won't vote at all. That's what I think about that. But we still have, until June. California does not vote until June. Super Tuesday is March 1st, because that's when the majority of the states are going to be voting. I think it's 11 states. So, that'll be an interesting time. Kesha. So there's a hashtag going around that's free Kesha, because Kesha is locked into a contract with Sony. Sony's one of Sony's under companies, which is owned by a producer called Dr. Luke. It's called Kalamazoo or Kimosabi, something like that. So records and okay. So those of you who don't know anything about the record industry, it goes as such. An artist is signed to a record label. They're given a certain amount of budget to produce an album. So they're being paid by the record company up front to produce something amazing and to be able to pay for their lifestyle while they do it. Okay. So it's their job that once they cut this record, it's their job to then go on tour and to make the sales and promote the album and do all these things that they can, so that the company can make the money back and they can make money, because they make money by going on tour, right? Now, if an artist doesn't do that, if an artist doesn't produce that payback, then they end up owing the record company money or time or whatever it is that the record company can sue them for. They end up owing the record company. So when you have an extremely talented artist, it's easier for them to make that money back. When you have a so-so artist, but they do have a lot of fan and people who love them because of producers and things that are put behind them in order to push them to the forefront and make it so that they can make all this money, then they still are a money maker for the company. So, my nose is itching, I'm sorry. So that's kind of how the industry works. So you have to think about it like that. Okay? Company puts money behind this person, promotes them, shows them off, so that this person can then make money and profits over that. If you're a singer-songwriter, your overhead is low. If you're a pop star, your overhead is high, because pop stars have to have big productions, right? Okay. So Kesha is trying to get out of an album, a 6-album deal, because she was sexually assaulted and mentally abused by the producer, Dr. Luke, who is the owner of Kimosabe. He says that he's put $60 million behind Kesha, and that she's owed these 6 albums so that she can pay this money back. But he's been abusing her, and she feels unsafe with him. So she's trying to get out of this contract. And so they went to the judge. The judge says no. The judge says there isn't enough proof. There is a lack of evidence to show that anything happened between Kesha and this man, Dr. Luke. And that why would a company like Sony, because Sony offered, let me get back up just a little bit. Sony offered then to say, okay, you don't have to work with Dr. Luke, but you can't get out of your contract. You still have to do the 6 albums. She's saying that no, even if you tell me I don't have to work with Dr. Luke makes you guys a lot of money. You're not going to just let me work with anybody and not make this money back. I need to get out of this contract. I'm going to be in debt at the end of this if I'm not allowed to work with somebody who's going to be able to promote me and to support me and whatnot. Because Sony will do that. Sony will not promote her album and not push her out there because she's not working with the producer that they think she should work with. And then she's going to end up owing the money. judge does not believe that. The judge is like, why would they do that? Why would they sink you? Because they're a record company and they take advantage of people. That's what record companies do. They take advantage of artists. Basically, this judge is saying that Kesha's body, Kesha is not more important than this contract. These contracts that were heavily negotiated. She's favoring and siding with the record company, basically saying that Kesha's emotional state and who she is not more important than this record company making money. And it's ridiculous. It's crazy. And everyone's like, well, she's a female judge. So if a female judge is saying that, you know, Kesha's argument isn't valid, then it must not be valid. But that's not true. Women are the biggest holder backers of women, of other women. Sets up such a bad precedent for how we treat women in this country. And I'm very disappointed, and I feel bad for Kesha, and I hope that she gets some kind of relief. I still hope something happens. I hope Sony releases her from this contract. I hope something happens because this is terrible. It's terrible. It's an injustice, really. Amber Rose is on this new show with Rev Run and Tyrese talking about consent. I don't know why consent is such a weird thing for most people to believe in. In our society, we teach people that when you get to a certain point in a sexual act with someone, that you have no right to say no. And if you do say no, that person low-key has the right to push forward. And the truth is, no, they don't. Once you say no, or even once you get to a certain point and you decide to say no, it is still your right to say no, and that person does not have the right to continue. I don't understand why people don't understand that. I don't know why women and men and other women, I don't know why women, I'm just going to go with women. I don't know why women slut shame each other. Why women say, well, you shouldn't have been dressed like that. You should have more shame. You shouldn't go out and do that. You shouldn't do this. Why is the onus put on us so that we're not attacked? And we should put more emphasis on them not attacking us versus us not putting ourselves in situations where they can. You should not have gone past that point. Women should have the empowerment and the right to say no. And men should have the right and the empowerment to say, okay, get out of my house. That should be equal. Consent is consent, you guys. Doesn't matter how you're dressed. It doesn't matter the circumstances leading up to that. If someone can't say no, then that's wrong. If someone says no and you move forward, that's wrong. Period. There's no blurred lines. It's not muddy. Protect yourself. Protect each other. No means no. That's it for today's episode of Morning Tea, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of other things happening in this world right now, but those are the things that I wanted to talk about in this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or would like to join the conversation, please leave a comment down below. Okay, you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.